today. Please know that a recording link and also a copy of the slides will be sent out to all attendees of today's webinar via both a follow-up email and on the partnership's website and also on the Learning Community blog. But you can expect to receive that follow-up email within 2 business days of today's event. So before the end of the week, you can expect to receive that. Also, you will be muted during this presentation. So if you have any questions or issues, please send them in to us through the chat box or the Q&A. We're going to ask that you please use the Q&A box for any technical issues that you might have. If you send that in to us through the Q&A, we'll help you get sorted out. But for any content-related questions that you have for our presenters today, please send them in to us through the chat box, and please be sure to select all panelists before clicking send on your answer. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump right into our presentation. So why do we do these webinar events? It's really to help you all build your capacity around the services that you're providing to the families that you serve, because anti-poverty work is at the heart of what we do in community action. And as we like to start off all of our webinar events, we do so by reciting the Community Action Promise. We do that because it grounds us in the importance of our work and why we come together to view webinars like this, to go to trainings, to do all the things that we're doing. And again, it's really to help make America a better place to live. So our promise reads, community action changes people's lives, embodies the spirit of hope, improves communities, and makes America a better place to live. We care about the entire community, and we are dedicated to helping people help themselves and each other. All right, so with that, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our presenter for today. Today we're going to be hearing from Angela Lingle, who is from the Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis, and she is going to be talking to us about myRA. So with that, Angie, I'm going to pass the ball over to you, and you are on.
I want to thank everyone for attending today's webinar. It's always a great opportunity to get to talk to you all the great work that you do within your communities, and it's amazing, first, to be a part of what you do, and second, to give you another tool for you all to share with the folks that you help. So I'm just going to tell you about the program, and then we'll kind of go over some of the specifics and see if I can answer any other questions you might have. So the brief agenda, again, we're going to go over some of the retirement challenges, how myRA fits for that, who's it for, what it is, and how you all can get involved in helping to share the program. So there was a Federal Reserve report done in 2016, and sadly it stated that obviously Americans aren't saving enough for retirement, and the number that was discovered within this report said that 31% have no retirement savings. And that was just a very frightening number. You know, this really is something that we need to address. It's something that we need to really help people kind of overcome that barrier and set themselves up for success later in their life. So within a lot of the research that we've done here internally, we have discovered that one of the main reasons that people do not have a retirement plan is because they lack access to an employee-sponsored plan. And sadly, again, 1 out of every 3 private industry workers don't have that access. So we also have identified certain industries, retail, food service, leisure, hospitality, manufacturing, and a lot of this is because those are part-time workers. They may be workers of small businesses, and a lot of times to start up a 401k or to start up a type of retirement plan through an employer, it costs that employer a lot of money, and if you're a small business, you just don't have those funds to do that. So this, again, is just another resource that those folks can share. We work directly with small employers. We work with any size employers, understanding that not always those employees that they have will either be eligible to participate in their plan, or they may not be able to. So we kind of have a team that works with employers, and we have a team that works with influencers to continue to spread the word. So it's been very fruitful to do both. I have done both since I've been on the team, and I've learned a lot from both sides of the house, and I'm going to share some of those experiences with you later. So as I've mentioned, we did do quite a bit of research on, why aren't people saving? Okay, so we've identified the problem, but why? And we've identified 4 main reasons. And the first is the cost and fees of opening and maintaining a retirement account. So a lot of times there might be a minimum to start up the account. There may be fees involved with that account. So, it could be a deterrent for someone who's just trying to take that first step to read a pamphlet or to hear the information come from someone saying, well, there's this and this fee associated with it. So that's, one of the very first barriers to hear, well, wait, I'm trying to save, but it's going to cost me. Another choice, or another one of those barriers, is choices. There's so many different choices when you do sit down and take those first steps. Do I want to invest in a stock? Do I want to invest in a mutual fund or an equity? Or what are the differences? I don't understand all this. Maybe it's not for me. So, a lot of times there's too many choices can be complicated, and it can be a deterrent. Another huge one is the concern about losing money. For first-time savers and people that have never been able to do this before, the thought of losing money is very scary. Even if those of us who are not in the financial realm understand what happened, back in 2008, it was a very hard time for a lot of people. A lot of people lost a lot of money, and that, although it was almost 10 years ago, that's a very real obstacle for people to overcome. It's something that's constantly on their mind. And you hear every day what the stock market does. So that is definitely something that people don't want to do, is lose their money. And then the last is the need to access those funds for unexpected expenses or emergencies. If your car breaks down and you need $1,000 to fix it, you need to be able to access those funds. And there are a lot of retirement funds that you cannot do that. A lot of different ones, once you start and open up that account, those funds are locked away until you reach a certain age requirement. So, people need to know that if something does happen, that they can get to their money. So, the United States Treasury developed the myRA program, the My Retirement Account, to kind of overcome those barriers. It took a look at all of them, and it said, well, let's develop this, and let's really work towards a really easy way for people to start saving for their retirement. And you're going to see in this slide and throughout the presentation, you'll even see later when you go to the website, 3 very simple words: simple, safe, and affordable. They're going to resonate with you, and you're going to see it in a lot of the different words and a lot of the different styles and just all of the things that make up the program. It's really going to resonate with you. So who can benefit from myRA? Obviously, we talked about people who don't have access to a traditional retirement savings plan through their employer. So this is obviously another great option for those people who want to take that first step, but they just don't know how. There's so many things going through their mind, and it's just too much, so they need something simple. And then the third, it's a great option for those people who earn an annual income below $132,000 if single, or below $194,000 if married, filing jointly. And those income numbers, they're off of the basis of this is a Roth IRA. And so you're going to follow the guidelines of a typical Roth IRA and, receive some benefits because of that function or that feature of it. So all the contributions are invested in a special Treasury savings bond that was created specifically for the myRA program. This is a savings bond. This is not your typical grandma savings bond that's a little piece of paper that you get and you hold on to it for years and years and you go and cash it in. This is it's a bond that was created that has an add-on feature. So it's really nice. And it's not something that anyone's going to see. It's all done behind the scenes. But every time you make a contribution, it just continues to get added to the bond. And that also goes back to the no risk. It's very safe because it is a savings bond. And I just want to point out that right now the rate of the bond is 2.375, and it does change on a monthly basis, so that's April's rate, which is obviously more than a typical savings account, so that's something to take into consideration too. It is a post-tax contribution, so that's another great feature which allows, comes into play when we say that people can take out the funds that they've contributed. They've already been taxed, so there's no need to worry about that. We do want to point out as people come into, if they would come into a hardship, that they don't want to really try to avoid touching that any of that interest because it's not been taxed yet, and they could be subject to a penalty if they try to withdraw that, unless it meets certain qualifications, which again follow the Roth guidelines. Savers can contribute a maximum of $5,500 or $6,500 if you're 50 or above, which is a really nice amount to be able to start saving. And then they can also, this is a starter retirement savings account. So the account is only going to be good until it reaches $15,000 or 30 years. And $15,000, at that point, you're going to roll into the private sector. So at that point, you have a good nest egg, you have a good start, and you're going to be able to go into the private sector where you can, you don't have to worry about those fees, you don't have to worry about the minimums, where you really have a good amount of money to start having your money work for you. And we did also work with the private sector to kind of come up with that number, and they really kind of agreed that that was a good number to have someone come into them and really kind of diversify their funds. So we do have a link at the bottom, myra.gov/Roth IRA, if you have any other questions about the Roth guidelines. It's a really nice type of one-pager that really explains some of those special circumstances and really gives you some additional guidelines around the Roth product. So going back to my famous 3 words, we have simple, safe, and affordable. So simple, you take control of the account. You can set up automatic contributions, and we all know the success of doing a set it and forget it type mentality. One of the biggest things when it comes to saving is getting into the habit of savings. So anytime you can make that habit, you can make it an automatic habit, it's more successful. So that's a really great feature. If you're changing jobs, the account stays with you. It's your account. You've opened it. You've taken that first step. It's not tied to any employer. It's not tied to any organization. It is your account, so that's an amazing feature of it. And then the third is, again, you can withdraw any of the money that you put in or your contributions without tax and penalty, which really comes into play with that emergency type situation. Obviously, our ultimate goal is savings and getting people to take those crucial first steps, but we do understand that life happens, and we want to help you when that does. So going to the second column, we have safe. There's no risk of losing your money because it is backed by, the investment's backed by the U.S. Treasury. So that is a really amazing feature. We all know the stock market is very volatile, and this is just a great way for your account to safely earn interest, and you can just sit back and let it grow. One thing I really like to point out, and for those of you who sit with people and really talk to them about their finances and talk to them about asset building, and a lot of times getting folks to understand and to visualize and to see the power of compound interest. It's a very difficult subject, but we have a savings calculator on myRA.gov, and it's so easy, and we have so much success if we just or we're able to sit down with someone and say, okay, well, let's see if you do $2 per week, what's going to happen? And then they get really excited, and they're like, you know what, I think I can do 5. And then, they can really just kind of play with the calculator and really kind of see what will happen. And, before long, they get really excited because they can see that it doesn't take a lot to get started, and it doesn't take a lot to see your money grow. So we've had a lot of success, and again, after the presentation or this afternoon, I encourage you all to go out to myRA.gov and really kind of go out there and play with it, play with the savings calculators, see all the resources that we have available, and I'll show you a little bit some of those. The third column is really talking about the affordability of the product. There are no costs to open, no fees to maintain the account, so that is great. If you're taking those first steps and you don't have $2,000 to open up an account, it's not a problem. You can go out and open up a myRA account and get started savings. So there's also no minimum balance, and that's kind of going back to that whole feature of the affordability of it, the simple of it, and really just allows anyone to take those steps. Here's one of my most favorite, and when I'm out in the field and I'm talking to consumers, and when I'm talking to influencers that work directly with consumers, they say, well, how can I really tell someone that this is something that they can do, that they can take those steps? And one of the best features of the program that I really like is that savers can choose how much they want to save. If they can only save $2 per pay period, but they're willing to do it, that's what they can do. You can save $2, $20, $200, whatever fits your budget. If you save $2 for 6 months and you go back out there and you're like, I didn't even miss $2, or hey, I just got a raise, so I'm going to up my contributions. It's so easy to do, and it really puts that in their hands and really makes them feel like they're in control of their future. And then savers can enjoy the tax advantages of a Roth and the type of investment. They could be eligible for the Savers Tax Credit, and there is some additional information on our website about the Savers Tax Credit, but there are some qualifiers within that, so I want to refer you to that piece. So myRA offers 3 really easy ways to save. The first is probably the most popular, and that's from your paycheck. So you can allocate however much you want into your myRA. It's going to go directly from your paycheck into your myRA account. You don't even see it happening. It's just so easy. You do that complete a direct deposit form through your employer, and the magic starts happening and your money starts growing. The second is for those people, maybe your employer doesn't have direct deposit, or you have multiple jobs, so it's just easier for you to take it from your checking or savings account. When you open up your account, you would just indicate which account you want it to pull from, and the magic happens there. And the third is one that we've really been concentrating on right now, given the time of the year, is you can take a portion of your federal tax refund and fund your myRA account. Maybe this is the first time that you're putting money into your myRA account, or maybe you're just boosting your existing account, but you can take a portion of your tax refund and have the money start going. So I just want to share with you a little bit about the myRA.gov website. I will tell you we've received a lot of really good feedback about the website. It's very easy to navigate. It's very easy to work. We've heard that on the consumer level and from influencers who need to get in there and get the information that they need to continue sharing it. So you see up at the top on the biggest picture, there is a section that says Partners. So if you would click on that, there's all kinds of great resources for you to go out there and share the program with folks. There's stuff that you can print off and have in your office. There's stuff that you can email. We try to make this as turnkey for you all to share as possible. At the bottom of that screen, you can see that savings calculator, how easy that is to get out there and to play and really just kind of see what's out there. And then The other one little screenshot that we have, it's just another one of the pages. That one refers back to the summary of the Roth IRA features I was talking about earlier. So, I know that there's so many of you all that work directly with consumers. I want to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing that probably parallels a lot with what you've been doing. So what have we been doing this year? Obviously, I mentioned some of our biggest efforts this year were around tax time. So we're kind of, with obviously the rest of the accounting community, we're counting down those last days till tax season. It's never too late to take a portion of that tax refund. If you haven't done your taxes yet, if you forgot about this or didn't know it was an option, you can, once it's in your account, you can go ahead and use it. But for so many folks that this is the tax season and tax time is the only time that they really think about their money. It's really a great financial opportunity for them to learn, for them to kind of take that first step. So tax season has been a big deal. We're even working with some of the community action partnerships throughout the country to share the program and other asset builders. So it's been really fun experience. We've had constant contact. We can even help send you supplies if you would need that. If you need some resources for your office, you just reach out to my office and we're there to help you. So some other things that we've done this year is we've participated and kind of promoted America Saves Week. That's another great opportunity to share such a great resource as myRA. Women's History Month, we take part in that too. There's on the website, there's a great under news and media, there's a great video that talks about women and savings, so that's really fun to kind of take a look at. Right now, the month of April, we have Financial Capability Month, so obviously another great opportunity month long for really for people to take a look at their finances, kind of take a look at what they can do and how they can really start to build out their wealth. The end of April into the first week of May, we have Small Business Week, going back to those folks that either work for small businesses or who own small businesses. It's just another great opportunity to share myRA with them and say, hey, if you work for a small business or if you own a small business, maybe a friend of yours owns a small business, this is a great option if they can't afford to open up a 401k or some other type of retirement option for their employees. It's a great program for them to share. It's no cost for an employer to share with them. It's so easy for them to say, hey, I know, I'm sorry I'm not able to do anything for you, but I heard about this and I really think that you could benefit from it. And then, as I'm sure quite a few of you may be attending or participating in conferences throughout the summer, we have an amazing conference schedule coming out this summer. We have so many different conferences that we're going to continue to share myRA with folks, to continue to, if we're able to speak on it, we're able to present, to get into a room with individuals like yourself, organizations like yours, to really sit down and say, this is another great tool, another free tool for you to share and put in your, in your pamphlet to have out there as a retirement option. And then as we approach the fall, one of the busiest times for open enrollment within organizations and employers. So again, it's probably, aside from tax time, it's probably the other biggest opportunity that people sit back and really think about their finances and what they're doing, what type of benefits that they're involved in. And if they don't have a retirement, kind of fitting in that myRA could be an option for them. So that's kind of what we've been doing this year and where we're going to be going and what we have planned, in the near future. We would love for you all to partner with us, to kind of take that step with us. We have a lot of great ways that you can connect with us. Social media obviously is a big driver in today's society. We have a YouTube page with a lot of great videos on there. There is actually a video that walks through the entire enrollment process. So screen by screen, it really just shows you what someone's going to go through, what information they're going to be asked, and it's going to help familiarize you before you promote the program on out, as the ease to enrollment. It does only take about 10 minutes to enroll online, so it's a really easy process. But if you want to take a look at that first, go to the YouTube page in addition to some other videos that are out there. There's, I believe, like 8 or 10 of them out there, so we have quite a few that you can go out and look at. We are on LinkedIn. We have Facebook and Twitter. So if there's something that you want to go out and pull a post from us and share it, we would love for you all to share our information. Going back to the website, there under the partner page are a lot of different times throughout the year, such as open enrollment and tax season. We also can generate some pre-done social posts. So if you want, if you know that tax season kind of sounds like something that you want to jump on with us, and you say, hey, there's just a couple weeks left, I'd like to continue, or I'd like to promote this with the folks that I work with for the rest of the tax season, you can go out under our tax page and you can pull some already done tax posts out there. It's so easy. It's so user-friendly, but it really allows for us to kind of continue to share the word. And I will say we have an amazing social media specialist. So if there's something that you all are wanting to maybe share, or a post that you would want to get out there, but it's not something that we really have done or pre-crafted, you could reach out to any one of my staff and on my team, and we could really work with you and pull her in and see if we can get something specialized just for you. So again, I want to tell you and encourage you to go out to myRA.gov. So easy, so simple to navigate the site. Down below is the 844-874-7590, and that is the phone number for the entire outreach team that I work with. Me and my colleagues are constantly working with a lot of great people out there, whether it be an employer or an influencer, to continue to share the word. One of the great things, and I will say our website is so user-friendly, you could go out there and you could pull all the information that you needed to share the program. You could go out there, pull resources. But I want to say that one thing that we're able to provide is if you say, hey, I want to do this, I want to share this type of an event, we could pull in our other experiences. We can pull in what's worked for other influencers and really help you make the best of a situation. If you want to hand out folders with myRA information in it, what would be the most impactful information or pieces to include in that folder? So that's kind of the bonus, or that's really where you're going to get that expertise. Call in or email the outreach team. We're a great, energetic team that's worked with people all across the country, and we would love to help you too. So I really just want to close, and I want to tell you, you all do such amazing work. I was at the conference last year, met some amazing people, and was truly blown away with the work that you guys do and the amount of effort that you all put forth. And so I really just challenge you to sit back, and I challenge you to think of how you could fit this into what you do and the people that you work with. And then I also want you to kind of sit back and think about, personally, do you know anyone that might benefit from learning about myRA? Maybe you have a sister who owns a small business. Maybe your church holds a financial capability or a financial group kind of session once a month that you could share myRA at. But I really challenge you to sit back, and I can guarantee once you do that, you're going to find more than one person that you could share the program with, that you could help them take those next steps. And it's such a good feeling, and I can tell you it's one of the best programs I've worked on with the amount of effort that's been put into the research and really kind of laying out what you know, what we can do to help people overcome and take those first steps and start saving for retirement. So are there any questions?
All right. Thank you very much for that presentation, Angie. So we are now at the Q&A section of the presentation. So please send in any questions that you have to us through the chat, and we will read them out for you guys. So we have one in right now, Angie, so far, and it says, how would you suggest talking to people about how to prioritize something like emergency savings or college savings or something like this if they're low income and they're just starting to save? Do you have any strategies that you think are helpful?
Yeah, so I think one thing that's really successful with that approach is really pointing out, you know, since the myRA program is a starter retirement savings account, it's going to cap at $15,000. So pointing out to them and really stressing the ability to save just even a little bit. So if you're starting, you know, you need to start saving for college, or you have some other things on your plate, you don't have to go all in. You know, just really make this a portion of what you're doing. And, you know, I think sometimes when people get in the mindset of I need to start saving, they kind of put, you know, they kind of think, okay, well, I need to put all my effort into saving. Everything else has got to get shut down, everything else, and that's not the case. You know, again, with the flexibility of the program, with you being able to pick and choose the amount that you need or the amount that you can afford to set aside, that really allows for the person to take ownership of that account. It's not something that someone's saying that, you know, you have to put $10 in a month. So that's really successful is, you know, pointing out that feature. Another feature that is very popular and pretty successful to share is the fact that you can pause this account. So you may have regular contributions coming out on a monthly or a weekly basis, but something happened and you need to, you know, you don't want to, but you know, some life circumstances have happened and you just need to take a break. You have 2 months that you need to take off from saving, and then you're going to pick it back up. You can absolutely do that. Again, you know, pulling into that, you own the account and this is yours, and this is something that you're going to make work for you. It's not going to control you. So that's another really good selling piece of it. It's something that really resonates with people, especially people, you know, a lot of time we've I've heard in, we've had some roundtable discussions. We've had folks mention, you know, the holiday season. So anytime from, you know, mid-October all the way through the end of the year, they say, there's just so much going out, you know, can I pause? Absolutely. You're not going to incur a fee if you pause. You're not going to, you know, nothing's going to happen to you. Your account's going to be there when you're ready to resume. So that's another really good piece, just that ownership of the account, having the ability to make it work for them. It's not so structured that, you know, if they default off of the path that they're going to get in trouble or get a fee. So that's really important to tell them. That's really important to convey to them. And again, having the ability to pull out the funds is just, it's huge. It's, you know, I don't know about you guys, but we didn't have much of a winter. My old example used to be, you know, if your heat broke down, you need to pull out the money to get the heat fixed. But just knowing that you can get to those funds a lot of times helps you in not even touching them. You know, you know that you can get to them. Sometimes, you know, it's the unforbidden that you can't get to that you want or that you think you need. So those are some of the things that I know that's worked on our team, and some of the things that has kind of resonated with folks is that low dollar amount.
Great. Thank you for that, Angie. So another question that we have that came in through the chat, how would using this myRA account in any way, would it impact my other IRA contributions or my military retirement account?
Okay, so first I want to explain that myRA is not meant to take the place of any type of retirement program or plan or anything that you currently are in. It can be used as a supplement for those people who are in something right now. You would want to make sure if you're in multiple types of retirement accounts that you're abiding by those caps, the $5,500 cap per year. So if you're in another Roth, it would, you want to make sure that you're not going over that amount. But we do want to encourage folks to take advantage of any matching program that they have access to first. That's a great feature of something that your employer is offering you, and please take full advantage of that. And then at the end, if you would still have money that you want to save into a myRA account, then absolutely take advantage of it too. But, definitely emphasizing this isn't meant to take the place of anything, and then make sure that you follow the guidelines for each type of retirement account that you're in and you're not exceeding any of those limits. Great.
Thanks, Angie. Another question that's similarly related. So what if someone has a 401k? Would they be allowed to participate in the program, or would that have any impact on their myRA account?
They, again, kind of piggybacking off the last answer, they could absolutely still open a myRA and kind of supplement their retirement. Again, if you have the ability to participate in a matching program, fully go all in on that before you would put any money into your myRA account. We do encourage that matching first, but you can absolutely open a myRA to supplement.
Great. Thank you for that. So another question that just came in, could you talk more about the process for withdrawal? You mentioned that a little bit earlier, but talking about how that works and what are the penalties or any penalties associated with doing that?
So you can withdraw the interest. Any interest in your account can only be withdrawn without tax or penalty 5 years after January 1 of the year of your first contribution, and you're 59 and a half or meet certain conditions. So, and I'm going to refer you back. That's a lot that I read. So I want to definitely refer you to the myra.gov/Roth IRA. That page really spells that out. So some of those exceptions could include the purchase of a first home, education, things like that. And there was a lot of dates that I threw out in there. So it's you can have the interest without tax or penalty 5 years after January 1 of the first year of your contribution, and you have to be 59 and a half. So again, please look to that page for further clarification. But the actual withdrawal process is really easy. So there's 2 ways you can do it. The first way is you could submit the request for the withdrawal, and it could be in a check form. And that does take a few extra days. Takes about 5 days, I believe. And then the other is when you link it to a checking or savings, I believe that takes about 2 days. So obviously the electronic form is going to go much quicker than requesting a check or a paper check. So, but a very easy process either way if you need those funds.
Great. All right. So the last question that I'm seeing that has come in, so I know that you talked about that there is a maximum balance and there's a time limit on a myRA account. Is someone able to open a second account once their first account is maxed out?
That's a great question. Actually, you are not. Once your account reaches $15,000, it's going to close to be rolled over into the private sector. And there is only one account that can be opened under your name and social. So it's kind of, once you reach that amount, you're ready to take the next step into the private sector. and that is either or, the balance of $15,000 or 30 years, and the 30 years comes from the fact that it is a bond, so it kind of follows those same bond rules. So either of those amounts, the $15,000 or the 30 years, but you can only have one account.
Great. Thank you for that. Oh, another question that just came in. Could you talk more about how it could potentially affect people who are getting any forms of public assistance, such as food assistance or housing assistance? And is the IRA considered in those income calculations?
Yes, it is considered, I believe, it's one type of account that's considered as a savings account. And I do want to say that this came up, when we were at your conference last year, and it is something that Treasury continues to be aware of. And when I say Treasury, we are the outreach team, and we're going out and we're talking to, different people and groups. We convey all information and all, any type of presentation we do, any type of feedback that we get, we do convey all the way up to the folks at Treasury that are behind the policy making and decision. It is going to affect, it does count as a savings. It is going to affect, people that might be obtaining assistance. So that is something that, like I said, we're continuing to look for ways to see if there's, anything that we can do in that world, but it will count towards the savings.
Great. Thank you very much for that, Angie. I'm just doing a quick scan of the Q&A in the chat. I'm not seeing any other questions. So with that, I think I will take it back over. So thank you so much for that presentation and walking through the different features and functionalities of myRA. It looks like we might have gotten in another question. Let me see. Nope. Okay. So thank you for that, as I was saying. We really appreciate you taking your time to walk us through this great introduction to saving that can be used for a lot of people. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So continuing on, we just want to talk about some other webinar events that we have through the learning community. One that's currently going on is for our Learning with the Learning Community mini-series. As many of you know, in addition to our webinar events, we also facilitate learning community groups focused on specific anti-poverty areas. So as you can see here, some of them on our screen, we have groups that deal with bundling services, financial empowerment, where they talk about things like myRA and other savings accounts and things to help people in our network, and also trauma-informed approaches. And we have actually a few other groups, but these are the groups that are going to be focused in our mini-series, so please mark your calendars. We hope that you join us for these events where you can hear a little bit more about what these groups are doing. You can hear from certain members of the group about their progress and what they've learned as a result of their participation in the cohort. You can see our next iteration in the series is going to take place tomorrow for our bundling services group. We encourage you, if you haven't done so already, to go ahead to our website and register for that. It's going to be a great presentation. But next in the series, on May 24th, we're going to be hearing from members of our financial empowerment group. And then right after, the next day, we're going to hear from members of our trauma-informed approaches group. So we hope to see many of you there for those events. Again, here you can actually see more specific information on the bundling services event. You should actually be able to click on the link on your screen, and that will take you to the registration page if you are interested in attending. Again, we hope to see you there. The next webinar event that's not a part of our Learning with the Learning Community series, but is coming up on April 13th, is with our Poverty Trends Learning Community Group. That's an open learning community group that works with the famous Jim Masters that I'm sure many of you recognize that name. But he facilitates that group for us, and we walk through different trends in national poverty and economic policy. And then we often talk about how to find resources, information, and how that relates to trends that you might be seeing on the local level So we definitely encourage you to join us for that event. Again, that's going to take place on April 13th at 1 p.m. So hope to have many of you join us for that. Finally, we really appreciate all of your feedback. We really want to underscore that we do take it into consideration and we do use it and apply it to our webinar events to hopefully make them more encouraging and more helpful for you guys. So please take just a few moments to fill out this survey. We would really appreciate it. I'm sure Angie would too, any feedback or comments that you have. So please take just a few minutes to do that. That would be great. Finally, here is the contact information for all of the learning community team. If you have any questions about this event, any of our webinars, anything else that we're doing in the learning community, please feel free to reach out to any of us. All of our emails are on the screen, so please feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns. But with that, that is going to conclude our webinar presentation for today. Thank you again to Angie for your presentation, and we hope to see many of you tomorrow at our Bundling Services event. Thanks.